Hello and welcome to the second part of the discussion on a short organum for the theatre by Bertolt Brecht. In the last discussion, we have talked about the very uh, characteristics of the modern theatre and the principal function and purpose of theatre according to Bertolt Brecht, and his the need for entertainment in theatre, need for ideological issues to be delivered through theatre, but in a entertaining manner so that it would be acceptable to the masses. And finally, that we ended up with the beginning of our discussion on the famous alienation effect and the epic theatre. So, what is alienation effect? As Bertolt Brecht has stressed several times that the theatre needs to um, generate a sort of social awareness, a consciousness about social reality, and at the same time, a need for transformation and change. So, these are the primary prerequisites of theatre, which should have been there in the theatrical representation, and therefore any theatrical representation, it should have it should allow the audience to think about the dramatic action and think about the outcome of the dramatic action in a critical and detached manner. So, that is, the audience must maintain a critical detachment from the dramatic action. He should not be enmeshed, should not be emotionally involved with the characters, and should not be emotionally engaged with the dramatic action. But it should maintain a distance. He should be conscious that whatever is represented on stage is actually a theatrical representation. That I am not one of these characters whose life or whose actions are enacted on stage. But we have to infer something out of the dramatic representation. We need to look at these characters, we need to analyze, we need to approximate these characters critically, and also such dramatic representation should generate within the audience, within us, the necessity for social transformation. So, this is what Brecht tried to say. And at the same time, he said that along with the audience, the actor who is enacting the role of any character, the actor also has to maintain a distance. That means he definitely would enact the character with all his seriousness, with all his devotion, with all his effort, but he should not make the mistake of making an emotional identification with the character. That means if an actor is playing the role of Macbeth, he should not think himself as Macbeth, forgetting his own identity, so that the audience would not be misdirected. So therefore, Brecht suggested that one actor should play multiple roles. As in the ancient theatre, they have used mask. The actors used mask of the characters, and they often used different typical physical gestures, typical style of speech, so that such distance could have been created. But Brecht suggests a critical distance, which is a reversal of the Aristotelian theatre of involvement. And this theatre, which suggests, which promotes alienation, critical distance, this is the famous epic theatre of Brecht. So we did up to this part. Just a quick recap of what we have done. Now, we shall find, I am reading from section 52 of the essay, A Short Organum for the Theatre. Those of you who have the essay, kindly have a look. Section 52. We shall find that this has meant scrapping yet another illusion, that everyone behaves like the character concerned. I'm doing this has become I did this, and now he did this has got to become he did this, when he might have done something else. It is too great a simplification if we make the actions fit the character and the character fit the action. The inconsistencies which are to be found in the actions and characters of real people cannot be shown like this. So, actions fit the characters, and character fit the action. That would be an oversimplified formula. So what is important is that there should be a logic and there should be a context in relation to, in connection with the relationship between action and character. What Macbeth is doing in a particular situation, he is reacting and performing something or doing something, acting something, responding to the prophecies of the witches. But we have to remember that what Macbeth has done is suitable for a character of royal lineage in the Elizabethan age. Macbeth যদি 21st সেঞ্চুরিতে জন্মাতো, 2020-তে যদি দেখা যাচ্ছে যে ম্যাকবেথ জন্মেছে এবং ম্যাকবেথ ওই রকম একটা প্রফেসি শুনছে, প্রথমত হচ্ছে প্রফেসি, ওই ধরনের প্রফেসি শুনবে কিনা এবং সেটা নাটকে দেখানো হবে কিনা 2020-তে দাঁড়িয়ে, সেটা একটা বড় প্রশ্ন। তার সঙ্গে সঙ্গে আরেকটা বড় প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে যে ওই প্রফেসিটা শুনে এলিজাবেথান যুগের রাজা অর্থেন ম্যাকবেথ বা সেনাপতি ম্যাকবেথ যেভাবে রিয়্যাক্ট করছে বা যেভাবে কাজগুলো করছে, 2020 সালে দাঁড়িয়ে কোনো ম্যাকবেথ ঠিক সেই রকম কাজ করবে কিনা। এই দুটো লজিক যেন ক্যারেক্টার এবং অ্যাকশনের মধ্যে থাকে, এটা ব্রেক্সট বলতে চাইছে। আমি আশা করি ব্যাপারটা একটু ক্লিয়ারলি বোঝাতে পেরেছি। এই জায়গাটা বলছেন সেকশন 52-তে। 53, section 53 বলছে, very important, even if empathy or self-identification with the character can be usefully indulged in at rehearsals, something to be avoided in a performance. It has to be treated just as one of a number of methods of observation. It helps when rehearsing, for even though the contemporary theatre has applied it in an indiscriminate way, it has nonetheless led to certain delineation of personality. এখানে বলছেন একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কথা বলছেন এই সেকশনে, বলছেন যে এই যে ক্যারেক্টার অ্যাক্টর ক্যারেক্টারের মতো হবে কিনা, whether the actor should be like the character. If we remember, I'm not an expert on classical theory of drama, but as far as I remember, as far as I know, that Aristotle in Poetics has formulated 4 characteristics of tragic protagonist. What are the 4 characteristics? One is tragic hero, tragic protagonist should be good. Number 2, he should be appropriate. Number 3, he should be like reality. Number 4, he should be consistent. So these are the characteristics of tragic protagonist. So tragic protagonist means, so the performance in drama that must correspond to the mythical character that the drama is based on, upon whose character the drama is based upon. And at the same time, so the actor is supposed to, rather we can say, as a sort of sophisticated mimicry of the character. That is what the actor is supposed to do. But Brecht is saying that, well, if this you have to do in order to enhance the dedication, the concentration of the actor, perfection of the actor, you may do it during rehearsals. But this is not something you have to practice in case of the actual performance of the play. You are not supposed to practice that. And what he's saying in this section 53, the coherence of the character is, in fact, shown by the way in which its individual qualities contradict one another. So, this coherence of the character could have been shown by the way in which the individual qualities contradict one another. It's a very important observation. So the person, the character, must be a person of contradictory nature. So contradiction shows the coherence in character. Now here, perhaps Brecht is trying to look at the very characteristics of the middle class, and it's taking a very dialectical approach, that a character should have contradictions, because the middle class, the petty bourgeois and the bourgeois class, they're essentially made of, their characters are essentially made of contradictions. So this contradiction should give them coherence. He is not suggesting that there should be a flat character without any contradiction, sort of one-dimensional character. No. The character should have multiple shades, multiple dimensions. And so, that multiplicity of dimension, that contradiction, should also be reflected in the enactment of the character by an actor. That is what Brecht is trying to say. Now, Brecht is moving to an important point. Is talking about observation. Section 54. Observation is a major part of acting. The actor observes his fellow men with all his nerves and muscles in an act of imitation, which is at the same time a process of the mind. To achieve a character rather than a caricature, the actor looks at people as though they were playing him their actions. In other words, as though they were advising him to give their actions careful considerations. সো টেকনিকটা এরকম যে একজন অ্যাক্টর, ধরা যাক একটা নাটক হচ্ছে ধরা যাক ব্রেক্সটের লাইফ অফ গ্যালিলিও। সেখানে যে লোকটা গ্যালিলিও করছে, সেখানে সে একবার অন্যান্য চরিত্রের দিকে তাকাচ্ছে, চরিত্রদের সঙ্গে কথা বলছে, তাকাচ্ছে, বাট অ্যাট দ্য সেম টাইম ইজ ইন্টারাক্টিং উইথ দ্য অডিয়েন্স। হয়তো ডায়ালগের মাঝখানে সে এবার বলে দিল, দেখছেন তো গ্যালিলিও চরিত্রটা কীরকম ছিল? Could you see what kind of character Galileo is? So the moment he says, looking at the audience, look, this is Galileo, and look how Galileo was, what kind of person Galileo was. The moment he says that, he connects with the audience, a direct connection. যেখানে এই যে ডিরেক্ট কানেকশনের ব্যাপারটা যখনই আসছে, অবজারভেশন, the character, the actor should observe the audience and the audience should observe the actor. But the actor has to keep in mind that the audience should not be lost during observation. They should not lose themselves while observing the actor. So the actor, in between his actions, at intervals, he has to remind the audience that, well, I am Mr. X, not Galileo. And this is what is happening on stage is actually a play, not the life of Galileo in exactly. This is actually a play and an adaptation of the life of Galileo, a representation of the life of Galileo. That sort of interruptions, that intervals, that constant reminding of the audience that, well, what you are seeing, what you are watching is a drama, is a dramatic action. That is what Blake is trying to say. Because why? Number 55. Now for Brecht, what is really important? Brecht did not see theatre, although he said that theatre, entertainment is the sole purpose of theatre. But he did not favor apolitical theatre. Entertainment, he says, in the manner of representation, not in the content, in the form of representation. কিভাবে নাটকটা দেখানো হবে, তার মধ্যে কি কি ডিভাইস ব্যবহার করা হবে, তাদের রেপ্রেজেন্টেশন, তাদের পরিবেশনা কীরকম হবে, তার মধ্যে এন্টারটেনমেন্ট থাকবে। নাটকের মধ্যে যে বক্তব্য, তার যে কন্টেন্ট, তার যে এসেন্স, দ্যাট উইল নট বি অ্যান এন্টারটেনমেন্ট. That will be a strong political message. Because Brecht believes that he is a partisan, and for him theatre was a political struggle. For example, Utpal Datta, the famous Bengali playwright, he made this famous statement that I am a partisan and not neutral, and I believe in political struggle. So for him, theatre, as for Brecht, theatre is a political struggle. So his objective is to generate political consciousness in the mind of the people, not to make idle entertainment. যে এটা মনে রাখার, এটা একেবারেই ভাবার কোনো কারণ নেই যে ব্রেখটের একটা নাটক, সেই নাটকটা কোনো একটা চিপ টাইপ অফ এন্টারটেনমেন্ট একেবারেই নয়। ব্রেখটের নাটক এন্টারটেন করে, আবার বেদের মেয়ে জ্যোৎস্নাও এন্টারটেন করে, বাবা কেন চাকরও এন্টারটেন করে, লট অফ অডিয়েন্স। কিন্তু দ্য manner of entertainment is not the same. And also, what is very important, the purpose of entertaining. বাবা কেন চাকর সিনেমা যে কারণে এন্টারটেন করছে তোমাকে, ব্রেখটের নাটক কিন্তু সে কারণে তোমাকে এন্টারটেন করছে না। ব্রেখটের নাটকের উদ্দেশ্য হচ্ছে শুধুমাত্র পয়সা তোলা নয়, ইট অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইন্টেন্ডস টু মেক ইউ পলিটিক্যালি কনসিয়াস। সেই জায়গাটি ব্রেখট ক্লিয়ার করছেন ইন দ্য নেক্সট সেকশন 55. What he says, without opinions and objectives, one can represent nothing at all. Nothing at all. Without knowledge, one can show nothing. How could one know what would be worth knowing? Unless the actor is satisfied to be a parrot or a monkey, he must master our period's knowledge of human social life by himself, joining in the war of the classes. Some people may feel this to be degrading because the rankart, once the money side has been settled, as one of the highest things, but mankind's highest decisions are in fact fought out on earth, not in heavens. In the external world, not inside people's heads. Nobody can stand above the warring classes, for nobody can stand above the human race. Society cannot share a common communication system as long as it is split into warring classes. Thus, for art, very important statement, please pay attention. Thus, for art to be unpolitical means only to ally itself with the ruling group. So, এই যে বললাম that this is actually the difference between Baba Keno Chakor as an art, as a form of entertainment, as a piece of entertainment, and a drama as a play by Bertolt Brecht. Brecht says that a play should generate opinions, strong political opinions, strong political orientations about the necessity for change. That is what this Brecht is trying to say. And he gave this strong message that art has to be political. Because unpolitical means, if you are apolitical, if you are unpolitical, if you say that I have no relation with the politics, what I am doing, I am serving the ruling class. If I am say I am not political, if I am say I am apolitical, what am I doing actually? I am suggesting, I want this existing system to exist. I want status quo. যদি আমি বলি এই এখনকার পলিটিক্যাল সিচুয়েশন নিয়ে আমি কোনো কথা বলছি না, আমার কোনো ওপিনিয়ন নেই, আমি কোনো ওপিনিয়ন দিচ্ছি না, সেটা এটাই ইমপ্লাই করে দ্যাট আই ওয়ান্ট দিস সিস্টেম টু পারসিস্ট, আই ওয়ান্ট দ্য এক্সিস্টিং সিস্টেম টু রিমেইন। সো আই এম অ্যান ally of the ruling group. That is what Brecht is trying to say. If you have to change the system, if you have to transform the system, you need to have a strong political opinion about things. So the playwright, the director of the play, as well as the actor, must be conscious of the contemporary social realities in order to make the audience conscious of that. This is very important. And so, what he says in the subsequent section. So, the choice of viewpoint is also a major element of the actor's art, and it has to be decided outside the theatre. Like the transformation of nature, that of society is a liberating act, and it is the joys of liberation which the theatre of a scientific age has got to convey. So, first of all, the actor must have a strong political orientation, must have a strong political connection. Political connection means he does not necessarily to be an activist. May not be, may or may not be. But what is important, he should be conscious of the political scenario outside the theatrical space. He must be politically conscious. He must be conscious about the political realities of the outside world. Unless he is conscious, he would, he would not be able to convey the message of transformation, which is, according to Brecht, the theatre of the scientific age has got the responsibility, the duty to convey. It is the duty and responsibility of theatre to act as an instrument in social change, but not in a didactic form, not in the mode of pamphlets, poster plays, no. But this message of social change, the message about the necessity of social change, must have been delivered in the form of entertainment. And the content must have been presented in a manner that also should contain an aesthetic sense. That is important. Now there are discussions about the very sort of technicalities about characterization. I'm not going into detail of all. Going in detail about all these sections is not necessary. Yes, section 62, in which the actor says. Brecht says, the actor masters his character by paying critical attention to its manifold utterances, as also to those of his counterparts and of all the other characters involved. তার মানে an actor masters his character by paying critical attention to its manifold utterances. Manifold utterances মানে কি? আগে যেটা বললাম কিছুক্ষণ আগে, তা ক্যারেক্টার মানে একটা কোনো স্ট্রেট লাইন নয়, একটা ওয়ান ডাইমেনশনাল সিম্পলিফাইড কোনো একটা হিউম্যান বিং নয়, একটা নাটক মানে। The character in a play means the character should have contradictions. Macbeth. কেন Macbeth tragic hero? Because Macbeth has contradictions. Macbeth যদি blatant একটা villain হতো, যদি ধরা যাক Macbeth and Prem Chopra are the same, তাহলে Macbeth would not be a tragic hero. Macbeth is important. Macbeth is a tragic hero because Macbeth has contradictions. Macbeth has multiple shades in his character. So the role of the actor, যে অভিনেতা ম্যাকবেথের চরিত্রে অভিনয় করছে, তাকে সেই কন্ট্রাডিকশনটাকে রিয়েলাইজ করতে হবে। হি হ্যাজ টু রিয়েলাইজ অ্যান্ড রেকগনাইজ দ্য contradictions in the character which is enacted by him. And also, because সেই ক্যারেক্টারের যে dominant ideology, he has to be conscious about that. And at the same time, he has to be conscious about the counter arguments, the counter ideology which are also present in that particular play and in the other characters who are also present in the play. In section 63, he made a large discussion, sort of long discussion on Galileo, his own play. I'm not going into that right now. When we'll be reading Mother Courage and Her Children, we'll be discussing that in detail. Yes. Section 68. Now, we have talked about the methodology, the strategies of alienation, how to alienate, or how to alienate, and what is the necessity of alienation, why to alienate. Now this question is, what to be alienated? This is section 68. What needs to be alienated and how this is to be done depends on the exposition demanded by the entire episode. And this is where the theatre has to speak up decisively for the interests of his own time. Now he has given the example of Hamlet. This whole matter of Hamlet, all these, how this thing, Hamlet's the crisis, problem in Denmark, something is rotten in the state of Denmark, conspiracy, supernatural, ghost, sense of guilt, all these things. Now what has to be this, what he's writing, that these events show the young man, that is Hamlet, already somewhat stout, making the most ineffective use of his new approach to reason, which he has picked up at the University of Wittenberg. In the feudal business to which he returns, it simply hampers him. Faced with irrational practices, his reason is utterly impractical. He falls a tragic victim to the discrepancy between such reasoning and such action. This way of reading the play, which can be read in more than one way, might in my view interest our audience. খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, আমি একটু বোঝানোর চেষ্টা করি ব্যাপারটা, একটু ক্ল্যারিফাই করা যাক। সেটা হচ্ছে যে হ্যামলেট, when we read Hamlet, সবাই আশা করি হ্যামলেটের গল্পটা সবাই জানে বা অনেকেই জানে। When we read Hamlet, what we read about Hamlet, that Hamlet is profound, philosophical, to be or not to be, the existential crisis. He is very concerned about the humanity, the degeneration, the moral and moral decadence, all these issues. That's why Hamlet is paid, because Hamlet is a great philosopher. That's why we praise Hamlet. But Brecht is trying to say that, of course, Hamlet was conscious about what the problem is. But his way of dealing with the problem, the way of encountering the problem or way of solving the problem, way was impractical. Because the very education that he received, that did not teach him to disturb the system anyway. That is, এই যে ফিউডাল অর্ডারটা, সামন্ততান্ত্রিক ব্যবস্থা বা ফিউডাল বা মনার্কিক্যাল অর্ডার, which is causing the problem, but he is not conscious. He did not try to change the feudal order and the feudal sentiment. এই যে একজন রাজা, তার ছেলে, তার ভাই তাকে মেরে ফেলছে, ওকে মেরে ফেলছে, এইসব ভারতেও মিডল এজে হতো, মধ্যযুগে হতো। কনস্পিরেসি ফর সিংহাসন, গদি পাওয়ার জন্য একে অন্যকে মেরে ফেলছে। তো এটা তো শুধুমাত্র একটা ট্রেন্ড নয়, এটা একটা পলিটিক্যাল ইকোনমিক সিস্টেম, তার ফলাফল। তাহলে ইফ উই হ্যাভ টু কাউন্টার দিস, উই হ্যাভ টু ট্রান্সফর্ম দ্য হোল সিস্টেম অফ ফিউডালিজম, মনার্কি। সেই সিস্টেমটাকে চেঞ্জ করার ওয়েটা হ্যামলেট দেখাতে পারছেন। হ্যামলেট কি করছে? হ্যামলেট ইজ ল্যামেন্টিং, হ্যামলেট ইজ রোম্যান্টিসাইজিং, হ্যামলেট ইজ ফিলোসফাইজিং। এই যে এই প্রবলেমটা, তাহলে হ্যামলেট নাটকটা দেখাতে হবে কিভাবে? হ্যামলেটের এই বেসিক জায়গায় হ্যামলেটের যে লিমিটেশন সেটা দেখাতে হবে। যে ইটস নট এ solution to philosophize the problem. The solution is to change. এবং এই জায়গাটা দেখো খুব টিপিক্যালি মার্কসের আটারেন্স, যেটা আমরা আজকে বলেছিলাম, মনে হয় অনেকেই ভুলে গেছে। একদম প্রথম দিকে মার্কসের থিসিস অন ফয়ারবাখের একদম প্রথম লাইন, যেটা দিয়ে মার্কস শুরু করেছিলেন, যে philosophers have interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. যে এতদিন ধরে দার্শনিকরা পৃথিবীকে শুধুমাত্র ব্যাখ্যা করেছেন, কিন্তু প্রয়োজন কি? পৃথিবীটাকে পরিবর্তন করার প্রয়োজন, বদলানোর প্রয়োজন। এটা কোনো দর্শনে বলা হয়নি, একমাত্র মার্ক্সবাদে বলা হচ্ছে। তাহলে এই জায়গাটা, এই যে পরিবর্তন, দ্য নেসেসিটি টু চেঞ্জ, নট টু মেক সর্ট অফ মিনিমাল ইন্টারনাল রিফর্মস। ক্লডিয়াসকে সরিয়ে হ্যামলেট দ্য সিনিয়রকে সরিয়ে ক্লডিয়াস, বা ক্লডিয়াসকে সরিয়ে হ্যামলেট এলেও গোটা সোশ্যাল স্ট্রাকচারটা কিন্তু চেঞ্জ হবে না। আবার হ্যামলেটের বদলে ফোর্টিনরা এসছে, ফোর্টিনরার বদলে আবার হয়তো আর অন্য কেউ আসবে। একজন রাজাকে সরিয়ে অন্যজন রাজা আসাতে ইংল্যান্ডের হিস্ট্রিতে এই ব্লাডি ওয়ার এবং ব্লাডি কনস্পিরেসি বন্ধ হয়নি, ভারতবর্ষেও বন্ধ হয়নি। সেটার জন্য কি করতে হয়েছে? ইউ হ্যাভ টু চেঞ্জ দ্য সিস্টেম। তাহলে ব্রেক্সট ইজ trying to say that if you have to interpret, if you have to show Hamlet to your audience, contemporary audience, you must take up this issue, alienate this issue. What you need to alienate? This Hamlet's failure to change, Hamlet's failure to transform. This issue you have to alienate to show the limitation of Hamlet, not to be involved in a sort of melodramatic representation of the philosophizing Hamlet. আমি কাঁপা কাঁপা গলায় টু বি অর নট টু বি, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন বলে বক্তৃতা করলাম, তার মাধ্যমে হ্যামলেট নাটক দেখানো হলো না। হ্যামলেট নাটকের ওই জায়গাটাতে ফোকাস করতে হবে। অ্যাক্টর বলবে যে দেখো এই যে হ্যামলেট করছে, এটা হ্যামলেটের এই কথার মাধ্যমে কিন্তু আলটিমেট কিছু চেঞ্জ হবে না। হ্যামলেট ল্যামেন্ট করবে, রোমান্টিসাইজ করবে, হ্যামলেট ডিপ্রেসড হয়ে যাবে, কিন্তু হ্যামলেট কিছু চেঞ্জ করতে পারবে না। হ্যামলেট কান্ট চেঞ্জ এনিথিং। তাহলে এই জিনিসটাই কিন্তু বারবার বলছে, শুধুমাত্র ফিলোসফাইজিং নয়, ইউ নিড টু চেঞ্জ, ইউ নিড টু ট্রান্সফর্ম। এই জায়গাটাই ব্রেক্সট তুলে ধরতে চাইছে। এবার ফাইনালি 75-এ ওয়েল্ট আনশাউংয়ের কথা বলতেন, জার্মান ভাষায় ওয়েল্ট আনশাউং, ওয়ার্ল্ড ভিউ। বলছেন, our represented page section 77, the last section, our representation must take second place to what is represented. Men's life together in society and the pleasure felt in their perfection must be converted into the higher pleasure felt when the rules emerging from this life in society are treated as imperfect and provisional. In this way, the theatre leaves its spectators productively disposed even after the spectacle is over. Let us hope that their theatre may allow them to enjoy as entertainment that terrible and never-ending labor which should ensure their maintenance, together with the terror of their unceasing transformation. Let them here produce their own lives in the simplest way, for the simplest way of living is an art. So finally যেটা বলছেন, so what is the principal purpose of theatrical representation? To show in a pleasurable manner the society, the audience, that their way of life are imperfect. Their ways of life are imperfect. The political system they live in are imperfect, is imperfect. So therefore, it is necessary to generate that consciousness that your society, the political system you live in, your way of life, they're all imperfect. You need to generate, you need to instill that consciousness into their mind, so that when they would come out of the theater, instead of having this catharsis of all emotions, purgation or purification, they will come back from theater with a disturbed mind. And their mind would not be comforted until they participate in the process of social revolution and transform the society according to the betterment of their life, according to the necessity of betterment of their life. That's what Brecht is trying to say. With that, we conclude our discussion on a short organum for the theatre, which was necessary to understanding the dramaturgy and the theatrics of Bertolt Brecht. আজকে একটু বেশি বকা হয়েছে, একটু বদহজম হয়েছে কিনা আমি জানি না। তো যাই হোক, I have tried to make the matter as simple as possible with the possible examples as much as I know. I hope that these would be beneficial for you, and let's see when we start this Brecht's this play, Mother, Courage and the Children. Thank you all. Thanks for your patient hearing. Thanks for your cooperation. Thank you so much.